Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mercenary Miniature Painter YouTube channel. I'm Scott.
This is John.
And we're back with another battle report. We're straight off a very big streak.
Viral success on the channel.
Yeah, we've had a massive amount of new subs, so if you're new to the channel, welcome. But yeah, we've got a nice classic matchup of rats and lizards today.
Not in Lustria though, are we?
No, we're fighting over some little elven settlement by the look of it. One of John's famous skink warriors has gone and died in the middle of the battle whilst he was carrying something important for a big slan, and so they've come to get it back.
I think it's Warpstone related to that. I think
just there to steal anything really.
Yeah.
It's not nailed down. So yeah, we've smelled something magic, and we want to come and get it. So I've taken a big empty horde, and John's gone the other way and gone for a real tough
second gen Slann.
Nice elite list. So we'll show you the
We're
battle.
playing ancient artifact though.
We
obviously, and that the skink chief is the ancient artifact, which is 400 points. Who holds it as a counter every turn from turn two.
It's a ticking objective. So once you get it, you get a token. Whoever gets the most tokens takes it, and more importantly, it's an 18-inch divide between us. So
and it's on a diagonal as well. So
we should get stuck in much faster than usual. Cool. I think that's everything. We'll show you
pretty much it, mate. Yeah. Run through the army.
So for the rats today, my first core unit is a unit of Poison Wind Globadiers, and there's a special unit of Scouting Gutter Runners in the trees here, so there's 8 of them. I've got 20 Plague Monks in my special with full command. There's 10 Clan Rats here. They've only got a musician, and they are accompanied by one of my Warlock Engine Seers. And they've got a Rattling Gun. I've got 4 Rat Ogres and my Warlord. And then I've got 30 Clan Rats with full command, 6 Giselles, another 21 Clan Rats in this unit with a musician and another Engine Seer. And then over here, I've got another Rattling Gun and 20 Clan Rats with full command. And if that wasn't enough, I've also got another 5 of the Poison Wing Globadiers. So that's a nice big horde of 2,000 points of Skaven.
Tonight, these were scouts, but Scott had scouts as well, and I didn't want them hiding behind there. So my 12 skink scouts have come to there. We got 3 Croc scores up on here. We have 16 Temple Guard full command with the second generation Slann, and he has got Wind of Death, Dark Hand of Death, Mistress of the Marsh, Fiery Blast, and the Howler Wind, because he's got the Plague of Topok for an extra spell.
In other words, he has too many spells.
3 Salamanders, 3 Croxagores with a Champ, another 12 Skinks there, with the Skink Priest who got Second Sight and Urannans, and then 3 Pterodons over there, and that is 2,000 points of the Lizards.
And that's the deployment. So as we said, in the middle there is the ancient artifact. So it's turn 2 onwards that the counter starts ticking. Whoever has the highest unit strength does claim him. And we've got, as I said, much closer deployment than usual. So not much room to maneuver with the Skaven, but it does also mean it should be quite difficult to get anything around me. So big old clash. We'll roll for the first turn. John's got the +1. Oh, not gonna get that one. What are you going first turn?
Yeah, might as well have my magic superiority. Why not?
Nice one. Cool. We'll come back after Lizardmen turn 1.
Pretty devastating turn 1. I haven't won that for a while. So yeah, everything went to plan for the second gen Slann. I can see why they're so strong. I'm glad I did even the list out a bit, because if I'd have went another Skink Priest, it would have been even more disgusting. So movement, these come over here just for a bit of frenzy, fun. Skinks moved up, Matey Boy hid a bit more, Crocs come up just a wee bit, Salamanders come up here. We're trying to stay out with that Rattling Gun. Wow. These Crocs moved up, and those Skinks hid behind there. Because we were 18 away, I knew they weren't going to be able to get in range to fire, so I just hid them there, ready for the next turn. On to Magic then. So the Slann, with his extra rerolls, got Mistress of the Marsh off, and Scott let it go. So these guys are half pace. And then he done Death Dealer, failed to cast it on 2 dice, but the extra one let it go. Scott stopped that with his dice. And then I done Wind of Death, failed again, but got it with the extra dice. And Scott scrolled that, so he used to scroll. And then this little chap over here done the Urannans on the Rattling gun. So we killed one of the Rattling guns, which I was pretty pleased about. And then onto the shooting. So the Salamanders went to these boys here. I done 22 hits between them, and we done a massive 12 randomised on the Warlord and the Packmasters. So we killed all the Packmasters, wounded the Warlord, and then we done 2 wounds to the Rat Ogres as well. But they did pass their panic. Now they've lost their Packmasters. They are stupid. But they got Skaven brew on them, we hadn't said before. Yeah. So they got hatred and they're stupid.
They're really angry, but not quite sure where to direct that anger.
So that is that. Over to Scott's turn 1.
Turn 1 for the Skaven. Mixed bag. Would have been better, actually, if I hadn't have had the barrage in the previous turn to try and make up for, but it could have been a lot worse as well. So first of all, they failed their stupidity test, so my general's stuck in the unit. Of course, these had to frenzy and charge into the pterodons who've run away sensibly, and then these guys moved up out of the woods over here, and everything moved slightly curving around over here, but nothing too much. Magic started off, seemed like it was going to go well, because John failed to stop my Storm Demon, which did kill a couple of skinks and wounded a salamander. And then he did stop my attempt to cast Wart Lightning with this guy.
I did on that one.
Yeah. And then, of course, I miscast on this one, which then resulted in me casting it irresistibly. But I now can't cast and don't contribute any dice to the rest of the game. So that's...
I haven't seen a 6/6 miscast before, I don't think. In all our games,
I don't think in what we've must play like over 100 games now, and I don't think that's ever happened. It wasn't worth it. I only killed 1 salamander and another skink, so it wasn't even enough to cause a panic, unfortunately. So yeah, nice work there. He's turned himself into basically another basic clan rat, but a very expensive one. And then the shooting phase wasn't too bad. The Rattling gun chipped off one of the Croxagores. The Gutter Runners killed 4 or 5 skinks.
Yeah.
And then the Giselles killed a skink. No, sorry, did a wound to another salamander over here. And that was about it. So not much I could do. Pretty much weathering the magical barrage before I can try and close the gap. Although I do have to remind myself that there are just a ton of points in one unit.
Big stupidity on the Rat Ogres met me up as well.
That has made a difference. They were also Mistress of the Marsh, so they moved like half of half, which meant they just sort of creeped forward, so they're probably going to get toasted in the next turn, especially with only 3 dice to try and stop John's barrage of spells. But we shall see. Turn 2, Lizardmen.
Edition is turn 2 for the Lizards again, so there was no charges. After the first demolition by shooting and magic, I thought we better give it another go at least. Rallied, and luckily these did rally as well, because they're going to come quite in handy with our 2 now. The rest of the moves, everything pretty much shuffled back. These ones reformed, and those skinks there come up 6. So onto the magic. Tried doing a Mistress of the Marsh on these again. Scott used all his dice and stopped it. And so I pretty much had free reign to do what I wanted to. I done a fiery blast from him onto the unit after much discussion, whether we're right or wrong or not, because the Warlord's a small model, they're obviously monstrous infantry. We said he could be targeted, because obviously he's a large target as well. You can see over units. So I got the fiery blast, I rolled 10 hits. Only done 4 wounds on the Warlord, but after already taking a wound, he failed 2 of his saves, and he is bye-bye. So that was a bit of a leadership problem for the Skaven. And the rest of the magic was pretty pitiful, to be fair.
Yeah.
I tried doing the 2d6 Death Dealer on 2 dice. Even with his extra dice, he failed it. And I tried doing a Urannans from this bloke, so I wanted these Gutter Runners to whittle them down. He failed and miscast, but he just rolled a 7, so couldn't cast again. And then this guy with his last dice rolled a small, his fiery blast or death dealer, whichever one it was, and dark hand of death. Just try and get a panic on these, and then I rolled a 1, so I rolled my second dice and rolled another 1, so he miscast, but obviously it doesn't affect the Slann. So magic was a wee bit of a bust. Shooting was a bit better. Skinks over there killed 2 Globadiers and caused a panic, so they've run off. Skinks over here killed 1 Gutter Runner. That was just sort of a free shot for me because they're not there for that. You can see there's a bit of frenzy business going on there. So that was handy. And then the Salamanders rolled at 12 shots between the 2 of them. Managed to do 4 wounds, kill 2 Rat Ogres, but those swines did hold on a 5. So that is where we're to. We better check our leadership, actually. I'm not sure it is 5. I know the Packmasters is, but I'm not sure what Rat Ogres is.
Yeah, it is 5.
And that was it. So pretty successful turn again. Scott's general's gone, and normally with the Skaven, that is sort of big trouble. And he's down a wizard as well. So not looking good for the Rats, but let's see what they can do on their turn 2.
Turn 2, and I've basically thrown caution to the wind now. Everything's moved up. The Rat Ogres somehow managed to pass their stupidity and not wanting to risk that I might fail it next time. They've gone storming forwards. Over here, frenzy baited by the Skinks. The Plague Monks had to move up. And the Globadiers did try to support the charge just to try and catch those Skinks. They needed anything over a 6, and they rolled a 7. So they just about got away. Gutter Runners have run over here. They stayed where they are. All the other Clan Rats have come forward. And somehow, the Globadiers here did rally. This useless engineer, who now doesn't remember how to cast spells, has run off. Trying to get out of range of the Slann from blasting him, basically. Magic Phase did push John, but didn't achieve anything. So the Storm Demon didn't get through John's defenses, which is fair enough, because he bound 3, and he's got +1 to dispel. But then the Warp Lightning spell, I used my Warp Sling token, and I rolled a mighty 20, and John rolled a 19, but with his +1 to dispel, that was another stopped spell. So that was the end of the magic phase. In the shooting phase, though, not so bad. The Rattling Gun mowed down a big chunk of Skinks. Unfortunately, they did pass their panic check. And the Giselles, one of them rolled 2 1s in a row and exploded himself. But the other 5 did manage to take 3 wounds off a Croxagore and leave just 1 remaining. Although, once again, John barely passed his leadership on a 9 and kept himself there thanks to the Slann. So everything else has moved up, and it's on to John's turn 3. Oh, I also get a token because I hold the objective this turn.
Bar the Pterodons again. That was a pretty devastating turn for the Lizards. So there was no charges. Sorry, there was 1 charge. The Pterodons went into these guys to try and kill his
Warlock.
Last Warlock engineer. Sadly, we never. So the remaining moves were this guy's come up here to obviously do a bit of march blocking and charge blocking and whatnot. These Skinks moved up to get close to the Rattling Gun. These Croxagores dropped back, and the Salamanders just moved 6 so they could shoot but get out the way of the Temple Guard. And then the Temple Guard just wheeled and went as close to the Rat Ogre as possible. In the Magic Phase M, they do have the Totem of Flinchie, so I can move them at extra D6, which can cause a charge, and Scott has to hold, so they went straight into the Rat Ogres. And then the actual magic, we managed to, because the Skink Priest can do telepathy through him, we managed to wipe out the Gutter Runners with magic missiles, kill 3 of these off of magic missiles, and that was about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
So not too shabby. The shooting was pretty good again. So these 4 here managed to poison the Rattling Gun twice, and he didn't make his saves. So that was probably by Rattling Gun. And then the Salamanders over here managed to, only one of them was in range, but he did manage to kill 4 Globadiers, and they panicked and ran off the table. So that's how that went. Into the combat sim. The Pterodons all with their attacks into the Warlock. and then the other one only managed to do 1 wound on a clan rat, and Scott saved it. So he done no wounds. He actually managed to wound a pterodon back, but I had hit and run. So I went back 10, and they rallied where there were 2 just there. And then in this one, the Scarvet completely whiffed all his attacks, never even wounded a rat. Oh, he did wound 1 rat ogre, and luckily the Temple Guard did finish him off. But then the other one attacked Scarvet back, done 3 wounds because of his hatred. And luckily I managed to save 2 of them, so the Scarvet is still alive. And he broke because of all the outnumbers and whatnot, and this big unit of rats broke with him, luckily for me. So that is how it lies going to Scott's turn 3. He needs some big rallies, and yeah, otherwise he's going to be in some serious trouble. So over to him.
Well, the rats aren't making it easy for me, I'll tell you that. So my turn 3, and you get a point, don't you? It's at the end of every player turn, so John's got another 2 in there. But yeah, what actually happened in the turn? So I did rally this unit, very importantly, thanks to the musician. And then my Globadiers charged these skinks. You can see how all that's gone. These guys passed their fear check and charged the Croxagore. And the Plague Monks charged the Pterodons who fled, and then I redirected into these, but I didn't have enough distance to get them. And then in the magic phase, I did a Warp Lightning and a Storm Demon. The Storm Demon was stopped. The Warp Lightning, I got Irresistible, and then of course I rolled like the absolute minimum amount of dice. So only did one dead skink, and no, 2 dead skinks, and nothing to the Salamanders. I only needed to wound 1, but unfortunately couldn't pull it off. And then on to the shooting phase, the Giselles killed another one of themselves. They're supposed to be reliable, but Clan Skyr have obviously sold me some really wanky weapons this week. Yeah, they took some pot shots at the big frog over there, and I gleefully put in, was it 4 wounds on him, and then John saved all of them with ward saves. So no dice for me. And then in the combats, it was a bit of a disaster, really. The Globadiers only did 1 wound to the skinks and lost 2, then fled. And here I did do a wound to the Croxagore, and he only did a wound back to me. But unfortunately, thanks to the Slann being nearby, the Croxagore did not run away. And that is how we stand. So I really do need to kill something, because at the moment I think just a few skinks here and there. And John's turn 4. Turn 4?
Oh, that was a clinic in Warhammer then, Scott, I think. Just, I've annihilated you in so much of a way of fashion that you've had to concede in turn 4 again. We've had another concede. I don't know what keeps going on, but I'll run through the turn and we'll have a chat after. So I think I caught you off guard with this little charge here, didn't I?
You did indeed. Although that was the one that I actually managed to stymie. Everything else went wrong.
So the Salamanders went in the flank of that unit. Obviously, I was worried about them getting in the flank of these going in. I didn't know where the assassin was. So I wanted to hold them up. And obviously with the Slann's leadership, I was quite confident of that. So they went in the flank there. The Skinks went into the Giselles. The Croxagores went into the Plague Monks. And these guys went into the big unit. So onto the magic then.
Pterodons ran.
Yeah, the Pterodons did. They never rallied. Cowards. So into the magic then, I did move this guy. So obviously telepathy, he can see everything around because these were in with the Plague Monks. The Warlock Engineer didn't have nowhere to hide, so he got fiery blasted off the table.
He did indeed.
It was way too high a roll,
like
and with the +1, yeah, and Scott just wasn't worth stopping. He chipped off 4 wounds off of these with 2 different magic missiles, a big one and a small one. And then he got some re-rolls, which did work out in my favour. Got 2 re-rolls with him, and then I put Mistress of the Marsh on this unit. So obviously, I'm pretty sure I was going to break them. They'd only be fleeing half. And it did work a treat as well.
It did.
There was no shooting this turn. So onto the combats. The Croxagore's done 6 wounds, and Scott did do 1 back, but he lost by 1 because I'd already chipped off a rank. They broke and fled and were run down. This poor old Croxagore, he did manage to kill 2 rats, but he did break and managed to just get away. Scott rolled a double 1. He could have done with that double 1 elsewhere.
yeah, definitely.
And my guys didn't panic from that.
Oh, we should say that I had the assassin in this unit, so I did win the combat.
And then onto this one, Scott did pop the assassin out. He killed one of the salamanders, and then the clan rats killed a few of the skinks. I done nothing back, but because I still had enough, well, I negated his ranks in the start, and I still had enough for a flank. I was 5 to stay because of his leadership.
It was the reroll that did it.
Yeah, but I failed the first one, and then I re-rolled it for the second, and then that kept them in play. So held Scott's unit up. And these skinks here, they done 1 wound. I done a re-roll on the other. They done 2 wounds. Scott never saved them, and then he done nothing back to me. So I won that combat, and they broke. I didn't actually catch them. And then in the big one, I done 7 wounds. Scott done nothing back, even though his champ did try killing my Scarvat to no avail. They broke, which caused these to break from seeing their friends fleeing. And then just to rub salt in the wounds for Scott, he did roll an 8 to get away, but Mistress of the Marsh cut him down to a 4, and I rolled a mighty 4 to catch him. And that was that. So we did shake hands and say,
yeah, I've only got that unit and that unit left. Neither of them are going to contest the objective at this point, and they're just going to get blasted off the table. Magically, I've got nothing to stop it now. So I do have my engineer. He's run away. He's off. He's run off back to his Sky Hole, and he's left.
Just talking before we summed up the turn, I think putting your warlord in that unit was obviously a good thing for the Skaven crew, but
yeah, that's where gimmicks get you. So I thought I'll be a fun chap today, and I'll go for something I don't normally do. So I chucked him in the rats. And if you hadn't have done such a devastating amount of wounds,
the stupidity that cost him, because he'd have been able to hop out the unit and still carry on.
That was his intent. Unfortunately, that has cost me. He had the Weeping Blade as well, which was nice. The one that does D3 wounds.
Oh, is it?
So he's +1 strength, D3 wounds. I thought against you with no armor, that might actually be quite nice. But no, to no avail. Unfortunately, it's one of those cases where when Skaven break, they break hard. So everything went.
My dives were pretty hot tonight. The salamanders never misfired once. They were pretty brutal.
He did hit a few miscasts, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, but then he doesn't miscast.
No. Yeah.
And then his one was only a 7, so it wasn't as brutal as your miscast first turn.
No, it didn't end up doing you too badly, but your dice were still a few times where and his fluff in the first combat.
That could have been a bit. But second gen Slann's pretty brutal. I've played against it once, but they had it stacked with priests, so it was even worse. So I was thinking, I'll tone it down, bring units like Croxagores and that.
A certain Welshman that we know.
Yeah, he played it with 2 priests, and it was absolutely brutal. I will say, still pretty bad.
That's reversed my thinking on Slann, because I haven't played against them that often, and when I've taken mine, I've always taken like a 4th or 3rd gen.
Yeah,
and I actually reckon that's made me think that if you're going to take him, they're only really worth doing if you're going to soup him up.
He is very costly, but he's good. I think the other ones do work well in Temple Guard. Like I said, you had a bad experience because of fear calls in enemy.
It's more from the magic point of view. If you're going to spend a load of points, I'd rather spend the extra points, and because you get that
+1 dice is ridiculous.
It's just basically a guarantee that you're going to cast.
But it's even like I said, there's like however many spells. It's like, well, I got it off, but I haven't rolled a 1 yet. Yeah. So I can just top it right up and just make it like nearly impossible to stop his spells.
I think the only mega downside to your list, which because you did manage to core me out because of my low leadership, is just the fact that it's quite easy to envelop. I think if I had like a more brave army, I could have just. The
only thing again then though, like I said, the Temple Guard are stubborn, so it is like unless you can get them with a fear causing enemy. They're brutal. Like those clan rats wouldn't have done anything. Even if you would have surrounded the unit, they would have just got cut down by them because they wouldn't have been able to. And with a Scarvat in there as well.
The only thing really that's going to do anything to them is like undead. If you've got a nice big block.
That's what I mean. You get like I said, the time I got you was with chariots, and I had the prince in there, and it was a massive block of them. So I outnumbered you at the end of the combat and managed to just auto break you.
Yeah, we're reminiscing on previous games where John's murdered my Slann. No, he's been a devastating boy.
And even the 4 wings you've done on him, he saved every one of them.
Funnily enough, though, until like that last turn, you haven't killed a massive amount of my army. It's just all the fleeing.
But I killed the important stuff.
That's the thing, yeah. The leader's gone, the rat ogres have gone.
The warlock engineers. So you had big
my Hail Mary. So the big problem was that didn't die when I needed it to. And obviously this charge, because my plan was to get a flank charge with the assassin,
Yeah.
And then that might have actually done
Swung
enough
something
to
in you,
swing it around, or at least pull you off the objective, and meant that I might be able to grind you out. But no, it was definitely a day for the Lizards.
That's exactly why I wanted those re-rolls on that, like that last one, just in case. I was pretty certain, even if you had the assassin, that big unit, I was going to win. But when you're stubborn, 8, cold-blooded, with a re-roll dice, you're going to be pretty.
My logic on having him with this unit was that because the big block, if it panned out properly, I would have had my warlord in it, and they would have actually been all right. And it was mainly just because I had my engineer in that unit originally before he turned himself into a pile of goo. And I just thought, like, if you tried any wonky skink charges to try and assassinate him or something, I'd have something in.
Just a big pop
and also, because I could have got around the flank, you could have hopped out and gone running around throwing warpstone stars at you. And that's another thing for me. Magic items wise, I didn't get to use the throwing stars from the assassin. My Skaven brew actually ended up costing me the game, probably. And I did point out, I think off camera, but I was a bit of an idiot with my warlock, because I took
too many dice.
I took the Eye of the Horned Rat, which gives me +1 dice unless I roll a 1, and it's -1 dice. But I've only got 2 wizards, so normally I take that alongside a Gracier, and I just mindlessly chucked it on him because I had 25 points to spare. But I would have been better off with an extra Dispel Scroll, I think. But anyway, that's been the Mercenary Miniature Painter YouTube channel. Another brutal battle report. Please do continue to like and comment on the videos. It does make
another one go viral.
Yeah, and we do like responding to them. Although if it's just if it's people telling us what is an artillery dice, why has the dice got 10 on it, which we had a lot of comments last week. That was a fairly standard thing back in 6th edition. But anyway, see you next time.